This is by far the most popular DJ controller in the world. Why? I looked everywhere to try and find the answer to this question. Because it's not just the most popular budget controller or the most popular amongst the Pioneer DJ lineup of controllers. It's the most popular across the board. And I think I found the answer. It is just the best at what it does. And I hate saying that because I have a love and hate relationship with Pioneer DJ. Allow me to explain. So the first thing that they did right here is the price. This is priced at $299, and of course the link will be in the description if you're in the market for it. But my biggest beef with Pioneer DJ is that their gear tends to be overpriced. It's kind of like Apple, we keep on buying it, but we're complaining because what do you mean? But the pricing on this one is perfect because if you go one tier below this one, you get to the FLX2, which is limited in ways that make people mad. And if you go one tier above this one, then you get to the FLX6 or the GRV6. And then there, it feels like you're paying way too much for a controller that has buttons that you're going to use once or twice and never use again. So it kind of feels like you're being ripped off. So with this one, they had to get the pricing right because it's made for beginners. So I cannot say that this is overpriced. It's perfectly priced. I mean, there are companies who are selling controllers of this range at maybe $20 to $50 less, but for what you're getting here, which we're going to get into later, it is so worth it. And the second thing that they got right here is the compatibility. And this goes both ways. It's the hardware and the software. And with the hardware, you can use this with your laptop, a tablet, or your phone. That means that the barrier for entry is lower because there was a time where if you needed to DJ, especially on Rekordbox, then you needed to buy a really powerful laptop. But now you don't have to. If you don't have it, you can just use your phone, which is more than likely going to be sufficient. And with the software, again, this is compatible with a lot. But the focus now is going to be on Rekordbox because it's used by this controller and pretty much every other controller above it that is made by Pioneer DJ. But not only that, because if you go on to play on CDJs at clubs and events, then those CDJs use the exact same software. And since I'm a content creator, I use a lot of different DJing software because I want to show you what's possible with each software. But a lot of DJs just choose one and they never look back. But Pioneer is quite literally the only company that can give you two of the most popular, which is really dope. And having them on this controller just perfect. If you're new to this channel, my name is Tozi and I make videos about music production, DJing, and the tech involved. And if that's something that's interesting to you, please consider subscribing. Now, back to the video. And the third thing that they got right here is the layout. So the layout of this controller resembles the bigger controllers by Pioneer DJ, but more importantly, it also resembles the club standard CDJs and the mixer in the middle. So on either side, we have the two jog wheels, which are very responsive. And then below them, we have the 8 performance pads. They're clicky, which I don't like, but they're here. And then to the left of them, we have the Q button. And then below it, we have the play pause button. And then right here in the middle, we have the mixer, which is kind of identical to the club standard really, because there's the 3-band EQ here. And then above it, there's the gain knob, which we don't have in the FLX2, which is kind of annoying. Then here we have the track select knob and then the load buttons on either side. And then above everything, we have the looping buttons here, which are present even on CDJs. Again, this controller is just, they got everything right here. The only major difference here is that this is smaller than the bigger controllers, but otherwise you can do 90% of the things that you would do on those controllers. So taking into account the layout of this controller, it means that if you upgrade to like the FLX10 or if you move on to the club, then it's not gonna feel foreign for you because I mean, this is identical. You do the exact same thing and the buttons and knobs are in the same places. So it's just gonna feel natural. And then number 4, it's the really cool features that you'll find on this controller. The first feature that we're going to have a look at is this one here. As you can see, it says Smart CFX, which stands for Smart Color Effect. And what it does is basically allows you to perform very complex effects that would require you to press and turn a lot of knobs, but using just one knob here. And then the second one is the smart fader, which is kind of like this one in the sense that it allows you to do complex things, but just using one knob or one fader. So once you press this one and you have a track on this side that's playing, let's say at a higher BPM, maybe 125, but you want to switch to 90 on this side, then once you press this one and you move this, the fader from this side to this side, then not only does it change the volume, but it also changes the BPM of this track slowly to the point where when you get to this one, now you add 90 BPM and you don't have to even touch the tempo fader. Watch the BPM, it's changing automatically. Now, these features are not something that I would use that much personally, but thinking of who this controller was made for, beginners, these are going to be very, very useful. Now, there isn't a product, especially in tech, that's going to be perfect. And at this price point, you best believe that there's going to be some drawbacks. And the first one is there's no balanced audio output. It's just RCA. I mean, not everyone needs this. For instance, if you're just DJing in your bedroom, you don't really need balanced inputs/outputs. But if you're like me and you're coming from the FLX 10 or the DDJ 800 or something like that, then not having balanced inputs is kind of a bummer. And the two benefits of having balanced audio cables is that, number one, there's not going to be any buzz if there's power cables and the audio cables moving along the same space like this here. And the second one is that if you have XLR or TRS, then you can connect directly to pro speakers without having to go through an amplifier first, which is really neat. The second drawback is that there's no booth output, so it's just one master output here. This is something that's very useful for me because sometimes I go live DJing on TikTok and I use the master to connect directly to the camera and then the booth to connect to the speakers so that I can hear what I am playing. So with this one, you can't do that because it's just one master output, which can be kind of a bummer, but at this price range, I mean, come on. And then the last one is kind of a hot take, and it's mainly because of the controllers that I was using before. So my first ever controller was the SB3, and then my second controller ever was the DDJ 800. And both of those controllers had a layering system where you could play deck 1 and 3 on the side, and the side would be deck 2 and 4. So essentially you could play 4 tracks on a controller that looked like this because there was a button here that switched from 1 to 3. So you would play track 1 maybe on this side and then switch to 3, then turn it down and then press play and then turn it up again, and it's 2 tracks playing on the same deck, and the same thing would happen on this side. It'd be something that would be fun to have here, but it's not anymore. I mean, not everyone needs it, but it would have been nice to have. So for those reasons and many more that I haven't mentioned, this is the most popular DJ controller in the world, and it's regarded to be the best for beginners by many DJs, including myself. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with that. If you're looking for other DJ controller options, then I made this video here that you can watch that can help you choose. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.